got some audio, so that's always the first question. Can you hear me? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Got some audio. I hear audio at this end. So that's always good. All right. So let's see, we've got a few of you on board. There's been some questions. You've been talking amongst yourselves again. Let's have a look here. Shania Johnson, which is why pups had very little movement and were not eating for hours. I'm not sure what the precursor for that was. Have you ever had any experience with oxytocin given to a dog to help with milk production and it's suppressing dogs' appetite? No, I have not. So we always, on a natural whelp, give a shot of oxytocin when the whelp we think is done, or maybe even to get the contractions going again for a dog that's kind of run out of steam. We don't do natural whelps anymore because we're not doing labs anymore, so they're all Frenchies. They're all C-section, and they always get a shot of oxytocin. Now, have I seen dogs with a loss of appetite around whelp time? Absolutely. So especially beforehand, I mean, the more common thing, of course, is that dogs just aren't eating very much in that last 3 days of their pregnancy because their tummy's being squished by all the puppies inside and there's no room, and they just feel awful when they eat, and so they just don't eat. For the most part, those things rectify themselves pretty soon after delivery. I mean, within, half a day. When we come home from a C-section, by the way, our dogs are very, very thirsty. I'm sure that's a byproduct of the anesthesia. And so we don't let them drink a lot of water because we know that if we let them drink as much as they want, they'll just throw it all back up and make a hell of a mess in the area with the puppies. So we don't get in a hurry about feeding dogs for that first 4 or 5 hours. We'll put a little bit of food out there, but not let them get crazy with it. Same thing with water. Put water out there, but don't let them get crazy with it. Now, oxytocin causing this, I haven't seen it. So that's not to say that it couldn't happen, but to see what other people say. So Frenchy Frenzy says oxytocin after delivery is normal to produce bleeding and help with milk release. Absolutely. So what oxytocin is, it's a hormone. You inject it, not very much, in the flank, not very much. I mean, I can't tell you how much, half a cc at a time, maybe, depends on the size of the dog. But what it does is what's called a smooth muscle contractor. The smooth muscles in the body contract, and those muscles would be the uterus. So what happens is it helps with contractions, and if you give it after the last puppy's been born, it helps eject placenta and general muck in the uterus as the uterus crunches down to something much smaller. It's interesting when you see a operation being done, and here comes the uterus. And I mean, on a Frenchie, the uterus is a size, each side is this kind of size right here. It's the size of a couple of oranges. And if you ever see one done in a surgical AI, when they're finding the uterus to inject semen in for a surgical AI, the whole thing's the size of a walnut. I mean, it's amazing how this whole thing shrinks down. It really shrinks down to almost nothing. Well, it's good evening. Yeah, it looks like Shanella's going to be on the live tonight. No, her baby is teething pretty good. So we will hopefully do it next weekend. Sorry about that. So next weekend is the plan. But her baby, Olivia, who's now 8 months old, I mean, she's doing great. There's not a problem here, but she's just a bit cranky and wants mama because she's got teeth that are erupting through her gums. So she's having a bit of a rough time with it. Right. Shania says, I just want to say thanks for the advice last week. Mum was given too much anesthesia during C-section. Okay. I don't remember that conversation. What happened here? One of the bad things that can happen with too much anesthesia during a C-section is you can have puppies that never start breathing. And I hope that wasn't what happened to you. But that's what we always do. I mean, not all of you can have the luxury of this, but for us, we know our vets very well. And we are always there for the whole operation. We're there for the pre-op, for the getting the dog prepped up, helping with that stuff, trying not to get in the way, but help. And one of the things that I absolutely, because I have had experience with this, one of the things that I absolutely do is make sure that I see when the dog was weighed, what the weight was. I want to make sure the scales are 0 before they put the dog on, and that the numbers they come up with are sensible. And I want to make sure that the vet knows what those numbers are, because they're going to give drugs based on dog's weight. And if you give too much, it's not a good day. You can really get in trouble with this. So that's something we do. All right. Gentle Giants is with us. Sonny Jones is with us. Good to have you with us, Sonny. James, can you discuss the KIT gene and if you can breed a husky panda to a husky panda? I've heard no, but wanted to hear your experience. Okay, I'm going to talk about that when Tami comes in here, because I don't think I'm really able to answer this very well. Colleen Bacon, what do you recommend as a calcium supplement for whelping mum? I've heard other mums giving it to mum while whelping and nursing. Yeah, so what's going on here is the reason you want to give calcium is in milk production, mama starts to dissolve her bones to get calcium for milk. And so if you don't have enough calcium on board, then the calcium level in their blood can go down low and they can have eclampsia, milk fever. You don't typically see that until whelp. You can see it maybe the day of. It can happen. It's typically much more of a problem in small dogs like Chihuahuas, where they don't have a lot of body mass. What do? We don't. So you've got to be careful. You don't want to start giving extra calcium pre-whelp. And the reason for that is it kind of messes up the calcium cycle. And since mum's not really producing milk yet, it can really muck things up. So although you think, hey, look, I want to get some extra calcium on board, apparently that's not what you should do. So for that reason, we start giving cottage cheese when they have whelped on their food. And it helps them get a better appetite for their food and give them some calcium. Does it really get into their bloodstream and help? I don't know. I can tell you this, we don't have a problem with eclampsia, and the mums like it. Just don't give it too much, because you can get diarrhea, and don't give it for too long, like 4 or 5 days. But there are other products that are, like Nutrical and things like this, that are better for this. And then if you really have a dog that wigs out on you, it's got signs of milk fever, eclampsia, it's going into a coma, shaking, acting really weird, then it's time to go get it to the vet, get a blood test done, find out whether the calcium's low or where the calcium is, and then what they do is they give an IV to get the calcium back up. So that's the treatment for that. Dana Hall, lots of people are now asking about health testing. Recently, a couple of people asked about IVDD testing. We use animal genetics. Do most Frenchies have one copy? We are considering testing for it. That's a great question, Dana. So the answer is, there's now, if you go to animal genetics, they can give you a whole coat panel, including 6 health tests for $130. It's included in it. So I'm kind of on 2 minds about this. I mean, you want to see your dogs come back as 6-panel health clear, because it's kind of a marketing thing. I mean, I'll give you an example. One of the things would be DM. DM in Frenchies, it's present, but it doesn't afflict the Frenchies. And so now you've got a problem where it comes up with a copy of DM, or maybe 2 copies of DM, and people are horrified and maybe don't want your dog, where in fact it's completely irrelevant. So it becomes a marketing issue. Now look at things like IVDD. I suspect that probably something like 30% of French Bulldogs have a single copy of IVDD. And especially in these really more compact, shorter dogs. So, we didn't have the IVDD test here a few years ago. We have it now. I know that I have got to have done lots of breedings with my older dogs where there was IVDD was present. And some of those puppies had to have 2 copies of IVDD. But I didn't get responses from people saying, oh, my dog's 2 years old and now it's got really terrible spine problems. Didn't hear that. So I suspect that although some dogs presumably will suffer with 2 copies of IVDD, most of these dogs probably won't. But I've had dogs in the past where they've had things like what appears to be a slip disc. They get where they don't want to move around. You can see it hurts them when they move. And those dogs, what we did then, and still do today, and we didn't know whether IVDD was present because it wasn't even a test you could do. But what we did was this. We put them in a cage for 48 hours, and we gave them some of this THC gummies and kind of calmed them down. And all of those dogs were fine afterwards. After a couple of days, they all recovered. never had a dog that had prolonged problems with spine. So I suspect that a lot of this stuff is, you know, the cisterna, the CYY, whatever it's, CY something, you know, that one's the one that gives kidney stones. Same thing again. I haven't had a history of dogs that have had kidney stones. And we've had a lot of dogs over the years. But I suspect that that's fairly prevalent in the breed. So what do? I mean, people want to see a 6-panel test. Fine, I understand that. But if you see, but the problem gets to be is it's likely that something's going to pop up. You might have one thing with one copy. Is that a death knell for the dog? Absolutely not, because you have to have 2 copies for any of these things to afflict your dog. But it will pass on with a single copy. It will pass it on to 50% of its offspring. So you will have to contend with this in the puppies. So, you know, I'm in 2 minds about it. Colleen says cottage cheese is from cow's milk. Is that still okay to give to mum? Yeah, I mean, this thing about cow's milk, I don't think that this is something where you're going to, if you gave your dog regular cow's milk, I'm sure it would lap it up. I don't think that it would, you know, you might give it a bit of diarrhea. I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, for instance, if I had some puppies and I had a mum's failed milk and I had to give puppies milk and I couldn't get any goat's milk, I'd give them cow's milk rather than nothing. Might be bad advice. And remember, neither Tami or I are vets. So any advice you get here, it's on your own volition. We're not making any guarantees or statements to its fitness or correctness. We absolutely could be getting it wrong. So don't come back and complain if you took some of our advice and it turned out to not be the best, because it's quite possible that, I mean, I'm hoping that 95% of what we tell you, I mean, look, our intention is not to try to trick people and get people in trouble, right? But at the same time, you know, our intention is to give good information. So, you know, ideas change about some of this stuff. You know, some of the things that we thought we were doing right 3 years ago turned out that maybe there's better ways to do it today. All right. Frenchie says, well, Miss Chanel, I assume because her picture was on a YouTube live. It wasn't a YouTube live because we intended to do it. But like I say, Olivia was not having it with her teeth. Rachel Rochester's with us. Good to see you, Rachel. Rachel had a litter recently of some beautiful kois. Okay, so Frenchie says IVDD is an extra charge not included in the 6-panel. Right. So then the question gets to be, should you do it? I mean, you know, if you do it and it comes back with a copy of IVDD, then you're obligated to tell your customers. If you don't know about it, you can claim ignorance. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's necessarily the right way to behave. I'm just saying, right? A gentle giant companions. My lilac and tan harlequin merle has 1 copy of DM. Not an issue. Absolutely not an issue at all. Right. So if you go look on my channel, I've got a video there that says DM the hoax or something like that. You put the word hoax in under my channel, you'll see it come up. And it talks about these double-blinded, peer-reviewed studies on DM that shows that DM, although present, although you can test for it, will not ever afflict a French Bulldog. That's not to say that French Bulldogs can't have spine problems, because they absolutely can, but it's not because of DM. They have spine problems, maybe because of IVDD is more likely. Or, you know, they've got 2 copies of IVDD, they're prone to this, and then, you know, they start jumping off furniture and they rupture a disc. So I think those things are quite possible. So Rachel says, yeah, absolutely. All my mums get cottage cheese while whelping. Yeah, right. Pamela Corman's excited because she's confirming her first litter on the way. Confirmed 6 pups. So that brings me to 2 things that I want to talk about as part of these general questions. So the first one is, I'm going to give you a scenario. Well, no, let's just, I'm going to give you the scenario for the other one afterwards because we'll get more people on board. Well, we've got quite a few people here. Let's do it. So here's the first scenario. So this is with somebody that I've been doing business with for a long time, good people. They've know what they're doing. They learn it from me. Not all of it, but they've certainly been part of their 15-year journey to get where they are today. And they've got in a good place. But they've got this problem where they're having what appears to be absorbed puppies. Here comes the litter, the dog is pregnant, they do an ultrasound, they show 7 puppies, the dog's getting bigger, and then all of a sudden, towards the back end of everything, the dog is not as big as it was, and they do a sonogram and they see empty sacs. So the question gets to be, and this has happened to them on a number of litters here recently. So the question is, what do you think is going on? Have you experienced this? And then what do you think is going on? And I will give you my input on what I think is going on. So that's the back end one. Now here's the other one. This is one where I talked to somebody actually yesterday because they wanted my advice on what was going on. And they had contracted canine herpes virus. They had a litter, and just to give you a preamble to this, canine herpes virus is very prevalent in the dog breed in general, not just Frenchies, but the whole dog breed. Something like 30% of all adult dogs, if tested, would be positive for canine herpes virus. And it is pretty infectious. It's spread by nose-to-nose contact and coughing and aerosols out of the nose. It's out there. And so then you would think, well, crap, I don't see it in any of my dogs. Well, the answer is the symptoms are pretty benign. What you see in an adult dog that has contracted canine herpes virus is it looks like it's suffering from a mild cold, got a runny nose. You may not see anything. You might have a slightly elevated temperature, and it may be completely normal. But if you do a titer test, you have to draw blood, go to the vet, they do what's called a titer test, T-I-T-E-R, titer test, and it can then show the presence of the canine herpes virus antibodies. And you know the dog has got canine herpes. It is a lifelong thing. You don't fix canine herpes. It's like herpes, herpes of the lip, whatever you call that, the zoster that people get on the lip, or vaginal herpes. These things are there forever, and majority of the time, you're not actively shedding off the virus. It's in dormancy. And so those people who suffer from this, and I mean, probably I don't know about the genital one, I don't even want to talk about it because it just, it sounds kind of awkward. But obviously the genital one would be a lot more concerned. But, you do see people who've got a sore on their lip. And I mean, the answer to that is don't kiss those people. Hey, I've got another recommendation. Don't kiss people unless you've been invited to do it first, especially if you're my age. Unless it's like a 6-month-old baby, and then you better have mum's permission before you start kissing on babies. Because anyway, I'm getting off track here. So anyway, the problem with the canine herpes virus in dogs is that you have to assume that since the prevalence rate is something like 30%, there's a very good chance it's in your kennel. And if it's in your kennel, it's a very good chance that all of your dogs have had it. Sounds like a bad deal. It's really not as bad as it sounds. And the reason for that is the time that it becomes important for puppies is if they contract canine herpes virus while they're in the womb 4 weeks or less from whelp, or when they're on the ground 4 weeks or less after whelp. That window is the point when the puppies can get infected, and infected puppies with canine herpes virus have a really tough time, and you likely lose some or all of that litter a couple of days after whelp. And that's exactly what happened to this lady. She realized what it was. She had seen my video. She got a titer done. Sure enough, canine herpes virus. Now here is the problem. She has co-owned dogs. They stay in families, and they come to her when those dogs are ready to whelp. So they've been bred. They stay with their other families. They come to her, I don't know, a week before they're going to whelp, and then she takes care of the whole whelp and gets them stable, and then she gives them back, which is not a bad way of doing things. But 2 of those dogs that came to her just here recently, both have got discharge from their noses. And the young dogs, first-time litters. So you know that it's very likely that they've contracted canine herpes virus. And they've got canine herpes virus in the last 10 days of their pregnancy, that likely they're going to have puppies that will get canine herpes virus already. And I think that they maybe catch it passing through the vaginal tract. Or so exactly, wonder whether or not with a C-section you can avoid it. But you have to assume that it's there. So she's really worried about this, and quite rightfully so. So what she's going to do is she's going to put them in an incubator. And what you do is you raise the temperature of the incubator up to about 140, get the puppies to about 140 degrees, hotter than they'd like to be, and the virus doesn't replicate very well. And hopefully you can get the thing under control. and get them over this. She's also ordered plasma that has the canine herpes virus antibodies in it, and she's going to give that right when they're born as well. It's a tough situation. So, just be careful about it. We have a strict rule now. We've been doing this for quite some time. Dogs that are going to have puppies come to us, and they are completely out of contact of all of our dogs, for 4 weeks before whelp and 4 weeks after whelp. In fact, for us, our dogs are kept away, our puppies are kept away from all other dogs until they leave to go to their new homes. That's typically at about 10 weeks. So the only time they ever come across anything that could likely have them a problem is actually when they go to the vet. And we're pretty careful about that, isolate them at the vet. So I just want to bring that one up. We'll talk about the other one here in a little bit. Let's see what we've got for questions. If a stud had 2 copies of CDDY, would you consider using them? Well, no, probably not. I'd rather find a dog that didn't have it, because I know, even if my dog doesn't have CDDY, and I know that the puppies won't be afflicted by it, I know it's going to be a marketing problem. So the answer is no. I would probably look for another one. Right. Fashion Forward Mums wondering if Tami and James are okay. Fashion Forward Mums, do you know something I don't know? I'm here. Tami's putting some lipstick on. I'm here. Best I know, I'm okay. Do you know something I don't know? Fashion Forward Mum says, what is koi? Then she says, a fish. Well, it's a pattern that looks like a koi. So the koi goldfish, the Japanese kois, they typically have blotches above their eyes of different colors, oranges and maybe browns. And if you see a koi and then you see a koi Frenchie, you'll see the similarity. So it's a pattern. It's not a test that you can do for koi, but if one of the parents is a koi, then you will produce some kois in that litter, and it's probably going to be 50%. It's a pattern. So look, it just turned down. Oh, Rachel. Dan also, I wish Animal Genetics would take DM out of the 6 pound. I agree with you 100%. They even say on their site that Frenchies can't get it, and they say, why the hell would you put it on there? I mean, it just causes problems, right? Rachel Roster just turned down 10K for my koi. Right, good. So you're going to make some nice puppies, make nice money. Good for you. Congratulations. I have a pup. This is Barbara Jones. I have a pup diagnosed with 1 copy of CY. She is healthy. Is it safe to breed her in the future? Yes. Specifically, if you breed her to a dog that doesn't carry a copy of CY, then the worst that can happen is some of the puppies are going to have a single copy and won't be afflicted by it. So, yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely do it. I've heard that you could absorb puppies with both parents carrying the KIT gene. Could it be something like that? Canine STD. Well, I think it is a canine STD, and we'll talk more about it. So I don't think it's the KIT gene, but I don't know what the KIT gene is. So I don't even know what that is. And so you might educate us right now. Give us a little short paragraph on what the KIT gene is. Rachel Rochester. They're talking about, I think they may be talking about a stud, Frenchie Frenzy. Maybe this was the dog they used. And Tami is not here, but she'd probably know who that was. So Frenchie Frenzy says, I would have said no to Rachel. I'm not sure what that means. I'm looking back. Anyway, we'll ignore that. So koi is 1 copy of the dominant panda gene with Merle. There you go. Right, exactly. So you have to have a dog. One of the dogs has to have a copy of Merle. You don't want 2 copies of Merle. And then if a dog has a panda gene and you get the Merle, it means half the litter. You'd expect to then end up being a kois. Well, Tami's talking to me, and she's going to come in here and talk more about this in a moment. So we'll talk more about a moment. Frenchie was going to be going to the Frenchie Bowl, but she's going to Mexico. No, so she's not going to see us. Well, okay. Oh, I don't know if we're going to be there or not. Maybe we'll go to Mexico instead. We'll meet up with you in Mexico. I hope you're going to go somewhere nice in Mexico. Most of the time, people go to places that's sunny and the beach. I like Mexico. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this other situation then with the absorbed puppies. So there's lots of times that I've had people say, oh, we had an ultrasound done, day 30, shows that we've got 5 puppies, and then we have a C-section done, and there's 2. And then I've even had people suspect that, that they stole their puppies during the C-section and took them away, which is highly unlikely. I doubt I can't, vets make good money, they have good livings, and the idea that they would do that is kind of a bit crazy. I mean, when you think about this is like these conspiracy theories. Now, if you have a conspiracy, typically there's a number of people involved. You've got the vet, the technician, a couple of vet techs. They've all got to keep their mouths shut. There's just no way that's happening. So I just don't think that that's a likely thing. The likely thing is the ultrasound was wrong. The other way that this goes, of course, is the other way where they say there's only 2 puppies in there and then 5 puppies come out. Much nicer situation. Nobody says, by the way, in that situation. I think the vet had a magic wand and they made one of them duplicato and touched that puppy with the wand and all of a sudden there were 2 puppies. Nobody gives that as an explanation, which of course would be equally ridiculous too. The answer is that ultrasounds are subject to the resolution of the equipment and the skill of the technician doing it. So I suspect that quite often these things can be wrong. But here is the scenario. These people breed a lot. They know what they're doing. They're very experienced. We know them personally. I'm not going to give names out because it's just, Anyway, they've been having this problem, which I talked to them today. They said, any ideas what's going on? We're all of a sudden getting these situations where we've had a number of girls who are nice and pregnant, all of a sudden aren't very pregnant or not pregnant at all. What's going on? So, got any ideas?
Well, when sometimes we had a female that looked like she was good and pregnant, and then they what do you call it?
Phantom pregnancy.
Yeah, it's a phantom pregnancy, but
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that could be one reason, right? Dog was we're definitely
just fake. I mean, they're just experiencing. They're going through all the motions and.
Well, that's a phantom pregnancy, yes. But so exactly, I see that.
Well, what about when you know that there was puppies there, and all of a sudden they.
So you had a relaxing test done. You know the dog's pregnant. Now it's not pregnant anymore. So that definitely is a failed pregnancy, right? And so the question gets to be, what could cause that? Because that's specifically in her case, it's not a one-time deal. She's getting a bunch of it happening all of a sudden. So here's what I think might be going on: brucellosis.
Oh.
Brucellosis is a sexually transmitted disease. We've talked about it before. Once a dog's got it, it's got it forever. Those dogs absolutely should not be bred because they will still have stillborn, absorbed puppies and puppies that don't survive after the first few days. And so, I told her, you need to go test your entire kennel for brucellosis, and heaven forbid you don't find it.
Yeah.
Now, the time that we did come across this locally was with Jackie. I finally remember that name.
Yeah. Don't say any more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's all good. Okay. Anyway, I won't say any more about it, but she had a different breed. Wiped out her whole kennel. Didn't kill the dogs. They didn't die. You wouldn't know there was anything wrong with them.
No, but she just couldn't breed anymore.
Couldn't breed anymore. And she'd spent a lot of time and effort getting all of her pedigrees where she wanted to be, and she had to start from scratch. And I mean, it was like 8 dogs, I think. It was a bad time for her.
That's why we caution everybody about when you go to shows or when you go get your dog bred, or if you are the breeder, you need to have those females checked to see if, this is what we do is, or Cody does, is when anytime a female comes up to be bred, first thing he does automatically is he does a brucellosis test.
Right.
And so we sell those tests also, but we do the brucellosis test there, and if she's clear, then the dog gets to. you know.
Actually, I'm going to correct you a little bit on that. We don't sell them on My Breeder Supply anymore.
Oh, okay, but
I've got
you
them. Yeah, there's
sell
various
it.
reasons
Yeah,
why I have to
yeah.
sell them. So you have to call me.
So
up
you
with-
have to call James.
I think
to
it's
get
five,
the brucellosis
five
test.
tests are like $75. And they
But
keep for a year or so.
you see dogs licking on each other, drinking out of the same water bowl, you know, just whatever. I always think of the what if. What if my dog could get this? You know, it's because if you're breeding, this is your, you know,
I mean, it puts
expense that you put into everything, and you just don't take those dogs
But-
out to just be.
So
out
we
in the
went to
world.
we went to that show in Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of dogs there, oh,
yeah.
mostly adult dogs, but there were some
but there
puppies
was
there.
some puppies there.
Tell me, would you take a puppy? Would you take a puppy that was less than 6 months old to any
No.
kind of a place?
No.
Dogs. No, I wouldn't either.
No,
Right.
but
it's difficult.
We don't even take our dogs there.
No, I know
it's
we don't.
just we don't.
But it's difficult for people who are going to a show to show their dogs, like an AKC event.
Yeah.
Because you know there are some dogs
Yeah.
there that are probably infectious. And, you know, you're taking a risk, but there again, if you're in the show business, you're there to show your dogs off. I don't know how you, I don't know what you do.
Well, I wonder if AKC does stricter vaccination things. No proof.
No.
Proof of their vaccinations.
You can't vaccinate. You can't vaccinate against brucellosis. I think there might be there's actually probably a vaccination in Europe you can get, but it's not available here.
Now I know when your dogs are that kennel cough. What is that one? That you either spray up their nose or it's you put it down there.
Yeah, well, kennel cough.
But what's the test called?
Well, it's not a test; it's a spray that you give them.
I know, but what's it called?
I don't know. I don't know what the spray's called.
We are clueless tonight.
We don't sell it. You have to get it from your vet. I mean, your vet will know. It's just Cody has some. I think he uses it sometimes for dogs that come in. He tests all dogs that come to him. The brucellosis test, you have to draw blood. You have to spin it down, get the serum, and put a few drops of serum on a little window in a cassette. And like 5 minutes later, you get the results.
Well, and if a female tests positive when they bring them to Cody, then they're not going to do it.
Yes.
They're not going to do the breeding. They're not staying there. It's too costly.
Do you know what the KIT, the KIT gene is to do with pandas and huskies? Do you know what that is?
No, I don't. Not the KIT gene.
I don't know. I need to find out about it.
With the panda? I know that it takes a panda husky and a merle to create the coys.
Yes, right. So I don't know what's going on with that. We have to find out. All right.
Or just a husky, period.
Barbara Jones, one of my boys, has 80, 10 points. Little B, Rojo. Little CO, Cocoa. Little D, Blue. Little E, Cream, double intensity. Is he a platinum? Absolutely he is. And so he will look absolutely cream. He will have a red eye glow, but you will not see either the chocolates or the blue or the tan points because he will be a white or a cream colored or apricot colored dog. So yeah, he's a platinum. Actually, he's not a platinum. He is a Isabella platinum.
Yeah.
Or is this new shade platinum?
Excuse me. New shade Isabella.
New shade platinum.
Oh, is it new shade platinum?
Yeah. Okay. If you've got 2 copies if you've got just little B, then you're an Isabella platinum. If you've got just little CO, then you're a lilac platinum. If you've got both little COs and the Bs, then you are a new shade platinum.
New shade Isabella platinum.
New shade Isabella platinum, yes.
Yeah,
right.
I think
sorry, yes.
Until you say that.
Isabella would be lilac.
Right.
Lilac is little B, little CO, little D, little D.
And Rojo is, new shade Rojo is.
Isabella is little B, little D, little D.
New shade is. A new shade Rojo in tan.
Would be little B, little CO, AT.
And 1 copy of blue.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
You could or it could not.
That's what Sophia has.
Matt Burkhart says, our repo vet requires brucellosis test 1 time a year. Good for him. We test all of our dogs once a year. Actually, Cody tests his dad dogs twice a year because he wants to make absolutely certain that it's not causing problems for other people.
Right.
So, and then any dog that comes to us always is quarantined and gets a brucellosis test. Right.
Just have to be so careful.
Rachel says, yep, that's a new shade Isabella and tan covered in cream, way better than the platinum. Exactly right. Yep.
When was the first time we heard about brucellosis? It was when we were having labs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time
That's
ago.
like 30 some odd years ago.
Right.
So it's been around for a long time. I was like, holy cow.
So Fashion Forward says it said INT/INT. which is they're separate
That's
from the E locus.
intensity.
That's intensity, right?
That's intensity.
Yeah, the E locus would be little e, which makes a massless cream dog, and the int makes for a more intensity, which makes it look whiter. That dog will probably look pretty white.
Mm.
Pamela Corman asks, is there a color chart anywhere that I can learn about these color gene differences? Yes. There's 2 apps you can get on your phone. One of them is called Color My Frenchie, and the other one is called Frenchie Coat Color, and they're both pretty good. I prefer the Frenchie Coat Color because I helped them put some stuff together on it many, many years ago. Whatever it's worth.
Who did?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They used to have my video on it. Talking about it, actually. They don't anymore. They got better videos than my crap now. And then also Rachel says James has got videos on YouTube. I do. I've got a whole series. I've got about a 13-part series all about color code color, where I go over all of this. So the problem with the app is the app doesn't explain. You can put in 2 dogs and you know their DNA and it'll show you what the possible outcomes are. I actually go into this in some detail where I talk about how it all works. Fashion Force says platinum can be cocoa or BB, from what I understand. Well, not exactly. So, this is all to do with the way what you want to try to do is describe a dog so other people know what it is by you saying it. So a platinum dog would be a dog that is
a lilac dog.
Exactly. It's a lilac dog
There's
covered in cream.
no other platinum.
Yeah, lilac.
When you see some people put on their platinum carrier,
yeah,
I'm
meaningless.
like, no,
Meaningless.
There's only one platinum. It's a lilac. It's a
lilac covered cream.
A lilac covered in cream. That is the only.
It's the only lilac. That's the only lilac and the only platinum.
Right.
If it's a little b, little b, little d, little b, then that becomes an Isabella. And if it gets to cream, it's then an Isabella platinum. And if it gets little b, little b, little d, we then call that new shade. And if it's got little d with it, then that would be a new shade Isabella. And if it had little e, it would be a new shade Isabella platinum. Right? Yes. Everyone's on the same page.
Oh, and Cody got his test back on his little puppies. There's 3 of them that carry pink.
Oh, cool. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And they're Harlequin Tweed Merles. 2 of them are new shade Isabellas. Yeah. And one of them is, new shade Isabella, Harlequin Tweed Merle, carrying pink. And then there's a lilac and tan Harlequin Tweed Merle. And they're all full fluffies. And they are Husky Supremes, babies. And there's a solid lilac and tan. Beautiful. They're all beautiful puppies. Their heads are gorgeous. Their shoulders are nice and thick and wide. They're just built like a little box, just little square things. And
how old are they?
They are probably 6 weeks old now.
Yeah. So
and he just got his test back. So
yeah, he's a bit long on getting his test back, and that puts him in a slightly awkward situation in that you're not selling them as quite as puppyish, which means that,
and the little female that he has, he's watching her to see if he wants to keep her or not.
Yeah, so he'll have a higher price on that one.
I think she carried pink.
Yeah, he'll have a higher price on that one. Yeah. That's the way we do it, by the way. If you've got a puppy in there that you're really thinking that you want to keep, price it so that somebody has to wrench it out of your hands. Because you have a solution for this. It's not like you're scrambling to get the dog sold, because you know that if it's not getting the price that you're demanding, then you're happy with that. The price the dog stays with you. So
and you're lucky enough that you get the structure and that you get the DNA together, and it's just like, I think I may want to keep her or him.
How many times and how many litters do you have to see for us? Do you think you have to see before you have a puppy that you think you really want to keep?
That's a hard question.
Well, I think it's like 2 or 3 litters before you see one in there that absolutely, definitely. It's not a very common thing. And the reason for that is for us, the keeper puppy, first off, has got to be female.
Second off, yeah.
Second off,
unless if Cody finds something. Cody always either
right. He's had some of our dogs.
Yeah.
But for us, we're going to keep a female. it has to have all the DNA that you could possibly get out of that breeding. Otherwise, you're not, so that's.
Or if it's a step up from the mama, because mama's going to be retiring.
If mama's retiring, yeah.
And so then, you want to keep a pup from that same lineage, and that's what I do.
Sorry.
I'm on.
You're on, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course structure, right?
Always.
And I mean, we have
the DNA is just the cherry on top.
Yeah, so you got to have
structure is big time.
You got to have all that fitting together, and so it's not that common an event for us.
And so many people out there are not paying any attention to structure; they're just throwing it out there just to do whatever. But got to have that structure to go back behind it.
Frenchie says, I wish they would update the apps. Yeah, it may not be totally current on all the new stuff, so that's exactly right. I wish it was too. Fashion Ford says, I have a lilac boy, wish he was white, LOL. You know what? There was a time, if you go back 5 years ago, that a platinum dog was or especially a new shade Isabella Platinum was a sort of
like 7 years ago.
Yeah, not so much today because the cream.
Well, I don't know. It bounces back and forth. You'll hear, what do you want cream for? And then you'll hear, oh, I got to have the cream. So it's like, it's to each his own, your own eye appeal, what you're wanting to put into your program.
Well, one thing you can do with cream is not mate it to a cream dog or a dog that carries any form of cream, like the pied gene, and you won't get any cream dogs. The problem gets to be is if you produce a totally cream dog, then as far as somebody who wants that dog as a pet, it's no different than just a regular standard cream dog. But somebody who wants to breed it, it's a lot more valuable. All of a sudden, you've just chunked off a large portion of your audience who would pay the money that you'd like to have for that dog because they're not interested in the underlying colors that don't show. That's the problem. It's not that there's anything wrong with cream. It's just if it's a pet, then if it's got blue and cocoa, it's irrelevant. And for somebody who's breeding, some of these people, for various reasons, don't want cream because they don't want all white dogs. And it's fair enough too. Rachel Rochester, Fashion Forward Mom, now we're avoiding cream if you want patters.
What?
Patters. Rachel's been drinking. Rachel, have you been drinking? Put down that vodka, Rachel. Get on board. Tell us what patters is. Oh, then she says patterns. Okay.
I was going to say, I bet she's saying patterns.
So I think, she's talking about things like coys and things like that. Right. So if you muck that up, right? Yes. Fashion Forward Mum says, I like the solid color ones. Always, I thought an interesting dog is a dog that's little a. 2 copies of what they call black recessive. It's got not black at all, but it makes for absolutely solid coat color. Those dogs. We had a blue. We still do Clooney.
He's an AA.
He's an AA, solid lilac, isn't he? He's a lilac, and he is absolutely solid color all the way through. And there's not a spot of white or anything else on him.
Kahuna was an AA. Remember Kahuna?
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? So someone's fashion footer. See, Frenchie Frenzy KC. Has anyone given James and Tami thumbs up yet? Well, we've got some thumbs up, but we could do with a few more.
Oh yeah,
it'd be
we
nice.
Could do some more. Thank you for reminding people to hit that like button. Those thumbs ups are very important to us.
Has anyone found anything to help tear stains? Fashion Forward Mum says angel eyes. So did somebody else. Yep, and somebody else says angel eyes. There's a couple of different things you can do. So this is a problem typically with white dogs, isn't it? Or pied dogs with white faces. Yeah. Where they get this really dark stain. If you've got a dog that's a lilac dog, or a chocolate dog, you don't see it because it just blends in with the other color. There's 2 things that we know of, and they both are somewhat effective. And one of them is the wipes, and the other one is the tablet.
It's the angel tears or angel eyes.
I think they're both. So
there you go. If you shave the
well, you know what
I know that they're trimming it because of the mess. It definitely grows back.
Yeah, it's like
it's hair.
If you had a haircut, would you be Kojak for the rest of your life? You had to be old enough to know who Kojak is. Do you know
Yeah.
who Kojak is?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
He always had a Tootsie Pop in his mouth.
Yeah, or a lollipop. What did he say?
Not a lollipop. It was a Tootsie Pop.
I thought it was a lollipop. What did he say? What did he say?
I can't remember.
Who can remember? Show your age. Who can remember what Kojak said?
Something, baby.
Yeah, he's looking at you, baby. That's not
like
Kojak.
That,
it's something like.
I don't know.
See if you
do
can
the questions.
Okay, right.
People get frustrated because you didn't answer their questions.
Right. Well, we're coming up. Okay, Frenchy said it took forever to grow back on one of her dogs. Yeah, I mean, if you look at dogs when they're born and then when they leave, they haven't developed much of a skirt yet. And so it does take quite a time for the skirt to come in. But for us, we do cut all of the mama's skirts.
Are you shaving it or are you cutting it with scissors? So it would take a real long time if you're doing it, shaving it, because it gets closer.
You just cut it with scissors, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, at the vet's office, you normally have them get the little shave razor thing out with not cut it not go too close to the skin, just tidy it all up. Otherwise, it just gets soggy and nasty back there, and especially for the first couple of days afterwards. It gets a pretty good mess, doesn't it? Yeah. And then I think we've got a dog right now. Her name is, what's the little dog's name?
You always can't remember it. Capri.
Capri, thank you.
Think of the trip we took
last
year. Just last year, James.
Well, I'll call her Rome.
He's getting dementia.
I am getting dementia. It's been around to you. So Capri, the little dog, she's got just a really nice coat. But I tell you what, little bastard today, found a hole.
She's not a bastard.
She found a hole
nice.
in the doggy run area. There's a big area they go outside and play, especially if it's cool. They can go out for a long time out there. And she has dug herself a hole by the water faucet. And she came in looking like a little mud ball. I got the hose to her, and she wouldn't get still for me. She'd run around. I got her hosed off fairly well. But, she's got long hair, and it just cakes up. And anyway.
She's my new shade, Isabella, Harlequin Tweed, Merle, Carrion Pink. She is a sister to Cody's dog that he has as a stud. She's very beautiful. She's got a coat that you will not believe. It's just beautiful waves and thick. She's a mess. She's a puppy mess.
Dana Hall, if the tear stains are already there, can you get rid of the stains, or does this just work as a preventative before they show? No, it's there to get rid of it. It's like putting ammonia, to make hair look whiter. It's not ammonia, but it's a chemical. The oral one is a bit of a preventative. It changes the tear enzyme so they don't stain quite as much. But if you've got the stains there, then the wipe the wipe will not prevent it. The wipe will reduce it.
I know that I think show people will tend to put baby powder on that as well.
To make it look white? Okay, right.
But a show person probably would help you real good with that because you've got people with poodles that are in the ring and they know those tricks.
When will you have some babies?
When will I have some babies? Well, hopefully by December I'll have somebody that came into heat and bred. Right now I'm getting a little break. Posh should be coming in. And she is that full, fluffy, new shade Isabella female.
She's already past 6 months.
Okay. And then Phoebe should be coming in. She's my platinum, what we were talking about.
She's at a year.
She's my platinum, fluffy carrier, testable chocolate female. And she is an Andreas female that she's she's
and then Sophia.
Stocky. And then I've got Sophia should be coming back in. And this may be her last breeding. She may get her break after this because I've got some plans on a few studs that I've been watching and seeing. So anywho, I'll have a nice selection, I think. And then, of course, our friend that has a couple of females that need to be bred. So, yes, the lineup's going to be coming pretty full. Surely by December, I'll know who's pregnant.
Shania says, how long before you can tell if the pups are fluffy or not?
About the third week. Second week, you're going, yeah. But the third week, for sure. You definitely know.
So your situation would be that you've got a dog where you're expecting to have non-fluffies, fluffy carriers, and full fluffies. I'm guessing that's what's going on here. Or maybe
I always check the pads of their feet the back wings of their back legs. And of course, their little private areas, male or female, will be extra longer.
I was going to say
Their
the
wings
ears.
on their jawline,
Yeah.
where their neckline and their meets the shoulder and the jaw. You'll see the little wings hanging.
Well, I was going to
from
say
that
the
too.
ears too. What are
Well,
the
every once in a while, yeah.
right? So it's interesting because a dog that has a single copy of the fluffy gene will have a different coat than a dog that has no fluffy gene. It will be a thicker coat, but it won't be very long, and it'll definitely be
And
different.
like this litter before last that we had, there was one in there that I kept on because it was a fluffy carrier and a full fluffy and parents, and so it was like, oh, this one looks fluffy, this one looks fluffy, and then wasn't fluffy, and that was Taxman, remember?
Yes, Holly McQuaid. Remember Holly? She got one of our puppies here recently. Didn't
Yes,
she? Her husband
that was a
snuck one in.
surprise.
Yes.
He surprised her. He's such a good husband.
He is
Holly.
a good guy.
He is a
He's
sweetheart.
a pretty smart guy too.
Yeah.
He raises. He's been messing around with deer for many years.
Yeah.
He's been pretty
He
successful
knew
at
the
it.
DNA and stuff on deer, so he was learning this, and he was catching on real good.
Oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about. What makes a Harlequin mole?
3 of the different colors, the white background on the coat, and then if let's say it's a lilac merle, so that means it would be white on the background. It'll have a dark lilac color and a lighter lilac color, so it's 3 different colors for a Harlequin tweed. And of course, there's tests that you can run on numbers.
That'll be able numbers, yeah. So a Harlequin tweed will have a regular Harlequin pattern, which is going to be one color on another color, kind of two typically kind of grayish colors.
No, that's the tweed on the grayish background.
Okay, well I was going to, okay, fair enough.
Harlequin's white on the background.
That's right, the background becomes white on Harlequin.
I just explained that.
Okay, I won't say more. Do you all recommend breeding back-to-back Frenchies? I never did when I was breeding Goldens years ago, which is Pamela. What do you think, Tami?
Well, I let mine either have, depends on how they act after they've had each litter. I'll do, for sure, 2 back-to-back and then a break. Or I'll do 3 back-to-back and a break. If they're bouncing back and they're young and running and playing, that's what my vet tells me every time. Tami, if they bounce back after having this litter and don't have any problems, go ahead and breed them.
And when you open them up, they don't have any adhesions or scarring.
Exactly. Always
thinning.
When you're having your C-section done, your vet, and ask your vet if your vet doesn't volunteer to tell you, how did she look on the inside?
So talk about Kit for a moment, because there's an example.
Kit was thinning, and Kit only had 3 litters.
Yep.
And we did a break. Well, she did a break for us too. So we did a break, and then we went to try to breed her, and she never came into heat till a year after that. And I told James, I said, I think she's trying to tell us she's done. Sure enough, when the vet quit chomping, as soon as the vet opened her up and got the puppies out, he said she's thinning. So
this is for Rachel.
she is.
Rachel
she's done on having puppies. So Kit has retired.
It's just orange juice, Rachel.
Have you had too much, James, or what?
Rachel was giving me a hard time about drinking.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
While you're on your program.
Frenchie says, best husband ever to buy his wife a Frenchie, especially with the Love My Pups pup. Well, that's great. Thank you. Well, I agree with you, though. He's a good guy, and I thought that was a really nice
it made
price.
us very happy because it was repeat customers. And like I said, I had 2 litters, a total of 11 puppies, and 9 of those puppies all went to past customers.
Holly McQuaid says,
and so two of them went to brand new customers.
So Holly McQuaid says,
I tell you what, that video, Holly, that you sent of Kojo playing with your female, it was hilarious. Yep. I told James that little dog was all over her. He's having a good time. He just owns the whole place, I think.
So,
great personality.
Jose Bugarin says, recognize you being on here, Jose. Good to have you with us. What makes a small French Bulldog with a small back? When we say small, we mean short back.
Short back.
So what makes that?
Which I say cobby, and some people go, what? Like a horse, a horse that looks cobby. It's ribs and its hips just almost meet together to me. But short back is great.
So how do you make it?
Luck of the draw.
Well, 2 dogs that have short backs.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
But
go
let
if you
me
got
just
2
say
long
this:
limousine dogs, you breed them together, you probably get limousines.
every once in a while, you'll get a great grandparent pop in that was long. So it's. I think it's the UK that there's some longer backed dogs
Yes,
there
right.
that they don't mind. I just like the look of it.
HD Frenchies, do you think there's a desire or a market for an all AA litter? Not particularly. I don't think so. There's nothing wrong with an all
You
AA
can
litter.
do a lot with AA.
You can. Because you can put an
You can do
AA dog with an AT dog, and you'll get all AATs, and they will all be 10 points.
Mhm.
So there's 2 ways to get 10
Or
points.
you can do AA to an ATAT.
And you'll get half
Mm-hmm.
double A recessive solid colors and half 10 points.
And then when you put an AA to an ATAY, you get the ATA, the
and the AYAs.
AA, and the AYAs.
Yeah.
Or, no. Yeah. Right?
Well, what did you want?
No, not the AYAs.
If you put
an ATA, an ATAY
which is
to an
sable,
AA.
which is sable,
Right.
to an AA.
To an AA.
Yes. You'll get AYAs. You'll get AY.
You'll get all 4, right?
You'll get AYAs and ATAs.
ATAs and ATAYs.
You'll get 2 different things. You get ATAs and you'll get ATAYs. That's what you'll get. Because you're going to give out the AY or the
okay.
A.
You were saying AYA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so
it's confusing sometimes.
So he said, our AA Roho girl, that's a Rohan daughter, could make that with the correct AA stud. Wondering if that's a good choice to use one with an ATA. What I would do is I would find a stud that you want to breed to that is either an ATAT or an ATA dog, and go
we
like
have
that.
the stud just for you. That Harlequin Tweed New Shade Isabella Rojo. No, New Shade Isabella Harlequin Tweed Merle carrying pink.
Yep.
That stud boy would be great for you to use with that Rojo, because you'll get Rojos and you'll also get New Shade Isabellas
and
New Shade Isabella Rojos.
You'll get half price breedings.
Yes, and when you have the puppies out of that, you'll get those puppies as half price breedings. I would hold back one of those puppies, and then you get that half price breeding with her to breed to another stud of ours.
Watching the Chiefs game, Frenchie says, and one of your friends is trying to get a sip of my espresso martini. You like espresso martinis, don't you? Tammy's an espresso martini girl.
Yeah.
Any help with a puppy getting really wound up when placing his food bowl? Dope Boy asks.
I've got
a dog, probably a young dog, that gets really excited when the food bowl comes out.
Oh.
I know what I'd do. What would you do?
What would you do?
I get one of those, what do they call those balls that you put the food inside? There's a name for them.
Oh, yeah.
What is it called? Not a Godzilla. What is it called?
Is he by himself, or is he?
Well, that's a good question.
Feeding with other puppies, because he's not used to getting all the food himself. Plus, he may not be getting enough to eat, and he's just extra hungry. And when it does come out, then he's just all over it. Or I'd let him free feed, and then it becomes the norm. It's there, it's not such a big deal anymore.
So I think the problem on this becomes, especially if you're with other dogs around, some dogs will try to get all the food immediately because they just know they're not going to get any. And they can get kind of pretty snippy over this, and dogs can get bit. So you want to break that habit, or you want to feed them separately. For us, our dogs all get fed separately. They do not get them. The puppies is one thing. The puppies are introduced all together, and they get as much as they want. We want to teach them there's food there, and then they're not going to starve. And
I always do 2 bowls when I've got at least 5.
Right. Yes.
Well, even if I had 4, then 2 and 2. Of course, they always seem to go to 1 bowl.
Yes.
When you have 2 there.
So
but they figure it out.
That thing I was talking about is called a Kong. So it's basically a plastic rubbery ball. You put the food inside it, so they can't get the food out very quickly. Because you don't want these dogs just
Is that a bowl or a toy?
It's a toy. A Kong is it's a kind of a ball with holes in it, and you pack it full of the food, and they have to kind of lick the food out of it or get the food. They can't get it out in a hurry. Fashion forward mom, I think all pure breeds that will always be a buyer, but not always at the same price. Well, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Fashion forward mom says you might put an empty bowl down first so you can get the excitement over and then feed. That's not a bad idea. Okay.
It's worth trying.
So H.E. Francis says, yes, Cassian, which is the dog that you were talking about, a code. This is on the list of possible ones, yes. Shania says, being that cream covers everything, if my female is a merle and a Sara is a husky, if I have a cream pup, how will I know if it's a husky or a coy, being that the pattern is covered in cream? You won't. So you will not, all you could do is tell if it's a merle puppy. That's all you'll know from the test. You won't know whether it's a husky, because it won't be, because it won't have the pattern, and you won't know if it's a coy, because it won't be, because it doesn't have the pattern. So although it would have been a coy or a husky if it had no cream, it will not be when it's covered in cream.
Yep.
There's a pattern.
These puppies that Cody has that are 6 weeks old, those Harlequin Tweed Merle boys are just like Cassian. They carry pink. Two of them, I think, are the New Shade Isabellas, carrying pink, full fluffy, just like Cassian. And then, of course, there's the Lilac and Tan that carries pink as well, Harlequin Tweed.
So, Jose Bugarin, I have the question, what do you do when a puppy won't sell for whatever reason?
Won't sell?
So there's always a reason why the puppy's not selling. So that's the first thing. You've got to decide why the puppy's not selling. So let's discuss.
Sell early, as soon as they're born, advertise it. Get the DNA as quick as possible, like when you do the dew claws at 4 and 5 days old. If everybody's doing okay, if you got one that's lacking, go ahead and do the rest. Get the DNA on the rest of them, or even just go ahead and do the little one that may need to wait a little bit longer. But anyway, do the dew claws. Send those off, because you do the dew claws at 4 or 5 days. You get your report back within 5 days after that. You already know by 2 weeks what these puppies' DNA is. You're able to.
So what you're saying here is you're saying how to fix the problem in the future.
Right.
Is to start advertising early and soon, right? In lots of places. But now you're faced with a situation where you've got a puppy that is not
FaceTime,
moving.
video,
what do you do? So here's some reasons that it could be doing. The place you're offering it for sale. That's the first thing. The price is too high. The pictures that you're taking, the videos are no good.
Pay attention to the background of the pictures.
You're not treating your customers in a respectful way.
Right. Pay attention to the background of the video or pictures that you're taking of those
You like
puppies.
pictures of puppies in cages where there's like 6 or 7 of them all together.
People now really prefer FaceTiming. FaceTiming is the best answer to selling a puppy.
Yeah. Well, it's advisable.
And if people don't want to FaceTime, that's their loss, because they're going to take a chance on missing out on getting a puppy, and they'll go somewhere else that somebody just texts them only and sends a picture, and who knows where this puppy came from. It's not those people's puppy, and they're just pretending it's their puppy. So that's the chances you're taking when you go buy a puppy and you're not doing the FaceTime.
If somebody's not buying something, the way that salesmen would be taught about this would be is you have to overcome the objections. You have to find out what the objections are, and you have to overcome them. And objections can be all different things. It could be price. It could be the pedigree of the puppy. It could be the way it looks. It could be its color. It could be the way that it behaves. It could be its structure. It could be that you're not being responsive to them. It could be that your photographs aren't any good. There's lots of reasons why there can be reasons that people are bad. You have to figure out, look, not every puppy, not every call obviously is going to end up with a sale of a puppy, right? But at the same time, don't crap on the deal by not knowing how you should be going about doing this. And by the way, if you want some help with this, I happen to have a course on it. It's at breeder101.com. It's my most popular call, and it's called something like How to Market Puppies. And it's, if you go to breeder101.com, there's 6 courses there. They're all, you do pay for them. They're not expensive. Typically the cost of a vet visit, you own them forever. They stream, you don't have to download anything, and they come with a money back guarantee. And that's the one that will really help in these situations, would be that particular one right there. And while we're talking about things that are, so I want to show you this new product. This is the new Shipmate. So it's rather different than the old one. It is a vacuum flask like the other one was, but it has this little device right here. This device right here that you see flashing away will maintain and slowly drop the temperature inside that flask to 5 degrees centigrade and then it will keep it at 5 degrees centigrade for days, literally days. So this is quite a bit less expensive as a starting product. This flask right now for the next little bit, $75. You have to go buy a shipping box, but shipping boxes, we can either provide those for you at a price, or you can buy, I think for $50, you can get 4 shipping boxes on Amazon. But this device itself, with this, is $75. These two things together. Let's just give you.
Tell them how they can get those back when they send them off, because some people go, well, they won't send them back to me. Well, there's one way they'll send them back to you.
What we do on every time that we send semen out, we always include a prepaid return label. And so we spend about $15 to get the whole kit back, the flask, the little gizmo inside, and the box. So we spend $15 and we get that all back. And then we also,
because if they don't send it back, they don't get the paperwork.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we do. That's the other part about this is
to be able to
yes.
kit.
Yes. But anyway, and let me show you this. This is kind of cool. You can swipe on this thing. I don't know if it'll show up on that. You see that? Oh, turn around. Sorry. It's 21 degrees in there. So when you get this, you can actually see what the temperature is inside without having to open it up. It actually shows you what the temperature is inside. So it'll show 5 degrees. It'll show 5 degrees centigrade when it shows up. And then when this thing comes out, this thing will be flashing 5 times and pause. So right now it'd be flashing 21 times because that's what the temperature is. It's 21 degrees, which is about what it is in the house. So there we go. So it's a less expensive version that is, I think, more elegant, and it has this feature on top, and it's substantially less expensive. So $75. You have to order that through me. It's not on the website yet. It will go on the website here later on. When we've yeah. Okay, let's have a look here. What else we got?
Cody's phone number for his puppies that he's got is 806-664-0173.
On this thing about the puppies that won't sell, I think it's Frenchy for Mum makes a good choice things. He says you can always find somebody who will take that dog and co-own that dog with you. So that's another alternative. If you've got a really nice dog that you think you would like to breed, find somebody who will basically partner up with you, and they may have only a small amount of money in the game, or maybe even no money in the game, and you might get most of the proceeds from when those puppies are born. It works well, but only in the right situations. Our recommendation would be that they are close to you, within 50 miles. Got quite a few questions here to finish up on, and we're running out of time.
I know there's times when people call me and I'll ask them, well, what is your budget? And, because I go to so much explaining on what the DNA is and what you can get. And sometimes you can just overspill everything when you find out that this person is only wanting more or less of a pet. That helps on saving time for you and your customer looking for a puppy as well.
Rachel makes a good point here. If the dog has the intensity gene, coy may show through on cream. So I said that if it was a cream dog, it wouldn't show. That's not right, and Rachel's correcting that.
Yeah, because you can see shades of it, and it's unique looking as well.
AC Frenchies, how important is a website? We are working on ours, but I don't think everyone has.
Website's pretty important.
The problem with a website is it's not a vehicle that people won't find your website, but when you talk to them, they can go to your website and you can tell them a lot of information. So all the things
and
you
didn't
see past
puppies on there as well.
Past puppies and what people have said about you, and then the DNA of these
dogs are on there,
and
females are on there.
Your philosophy about what you're doing. So I think the website is not something that drives people to you. It's something that people can go to after they've contacted you.
It helps sales too,
well,
James.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
I think it's very important.
Okay, it is important. So the short answer is yes. I think a website.
Well, it's a long way to go around to get an yes.
Well, there you go. So the problem with it is it's not just painless to put a website together. If somebody's doing a website for you, there's all kinds of problems. I think my recommendation is if possible, you learn how to use a product like WordPress and put a website together yourself. It doesn't have to be slick and beautiful, but it has to be full of good information. And you can take your YouTube videos and put them on there. I would have a website, yes.
About done.
Frenchy Frenzy, I'm curious how many pups are sold on websites. I've been working on mine and it's a lot of work. Yeah. Well, then he said recommendations on the best websites out there. Well, there's different things between websites and your page. You've got to, for us, we've built our page ourselves. Then you have to have somebody host it.
What's important to also have Instagram pages as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ours is Love My Pups Official.
Yes. So, and those are, by the way, a lot easier to put together than a web page. If you have a web page, you've got to go get someone like GoDaddy, who you go get the domain name, and then there's a whole thing about what do you call it, and make it something that's memorable and something that people don't spell wrong. And anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff to that. But I think at some point, if you're going to be serious about this, you should have a website. And at this point, we're way long, so we are going to, I think I answered just about everything.
806-664-0173 is Cody's phone number to check out his little 6-week-old puppies and take a look at those guys. They're beautiful.
Dana Hall says our website sells puppies very well, but some of that has been because we've been breeding for 29 years. You got that right. And another thing here that I didn't say about this problem selling a puppy, there are things that you can do to be creative on financing too. So it's a lot of times when people don't want to or don't have the full amount of what you want for the dog, you can always take less and pack that on the back end and they don't get the paperwork until they have paid up the balance. You can get burned on this. It's not a perfect situation, but it can overcome the price objection quite often, right? Especially if it's an expensive dog. And one of the things would be, someone's going to buy an expensive dog from you, and maybe it's going to be a stud dog. They're not going to do it.
After they've talked to you and visited with you on the phone, you can pretty well tell who's somebody that's really wanting to get into the business, really has their heart set on doing this and thrive with it, So you want to help them out.
Are there any pics of Cassian? I just talked to Cody today about this. He's been very lax on it. He gets
there's videos. He's got videos.
Not on the website. He doesn't have them on my
Okay, they can call him and get it.
Well, they don't need to do that. We've got to get them on there. We will do that. So I'm going to be up there on the 20th, and I'm going to go take good videos and put them up on our website. So there will be some pictures up there soon, but it's kind of crazy. He's had 5 or 6 litters now, and he's not advertising it the way we should have.
Has it got 5 or 6 litters on the ground?
No, not on the ground, but, but 5 litters in the oven. In the oven. Yeah.
Take my word for it. He's a good-looking dog.
He is. And if somebody calls me, I do have a video and a picture that I can send you so you can see a little bit about it. But we'll get something much more in detail here in the next couple of weeks. All right, I think we're done. So thanks, as always, for watching. And everyone have a good week. And we haven't been hounding you on thumbs up. You've been doing pretty good, and we appreciate that. Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. If people have recommendations of what they'd like as content for one of these lives, I'd like to see that.
Please do.
That would help, because I'd like to have a theme on these things if possible, as opposed to just because we do answer a lot of the same questions repeatedly, which is okay, but it's not necessarily okay for some of the audience because they're like, well, James has already answered that 3 times in the last month. So I'd like to have a theme if we can and talk about a particular theme. So if you've got something you suggest as a theme, let us know that, and we'll see if we can incorporate it. And we'll see you next week. Right, Tami?
Yeah.
Bye.
Every